Hello, everybody. My name is Bright Rose, and welcome back to the Vintage Sky server. If ever I build up enough of a community and, some sort of level thing on Patreon, I'm going to end up offering a tier or something where people get to record their own "Hello, everybody" thing, and I'm putting it at the start of random episodes. But that's something for the distant future, probably. But yes, welcome back. I should stop doing that. That makes my dizzy, probably you as well. But welcome back to the Vintage Sky server, to my slightly cleaned up but still incredibly messy island. Yeah, I think I might just turn this into some sort of warehouse, Indiana Jones style, with just chests everywhere that may or may not contain useful things. And just Bob in the middle doing his thing. But we're going to have a look at the progress that I've been making and some of the various other things that I've been doing around on the server. But first, we have a lucky block to mine, which my lucky block is broken. It's not been the actual lucky block skin for a long time. It has been the default note block. So let's just mine away and see what we get. Oh, we're already through to the top. Right. I have put this little auto cell chest here because once you've got a couple of farms going, you really don't need the seeds and stuff like that. So I just yeet them straight into there. Also, my mass of things like netherite blocks and diamonds is kind of building up, which I'm just keeping around, lest they're just a sell in the future. What hopper did we get? Ore hopper, not bad. We're going to have a look at that in a minute. And a creeper spawner. Yes, that will get us dynamite and TNT. This little git, or rather the 110 of them that are stood there, keep on terrifying me because they're in here, the creeper at the moment, and there's little silverfish, and these two give gunpowder and redstone, as you can see, because of the unique loot tables that we have on the server. And what I do is I, mine my lucky block or something, and I run over here, and out the corner of my eye, I spot a creeper standing here. And it scares the absolute bejesus out of me. Because, well, I'm a Minecraft player. I'm programmed to see a creeper in some sort of environment, especially in my base, and go, panic, kill it now. But, yeah, it's passive, and it just makes me jump for absolutely no reason. But let's go and have a look at the other layers of this build, and I will show you exactly what's been going on. So previously, you might have seen I had my big mining setup here, but I wanted to move it down into the lower layers. And this is where all my mob spawners were. But at the moment, I've just got a bunch of pigs here because pigs are what you use to upgrade your shiny, shiny Slayer sword. Or rather, drops from meat is what you use. So I take all of these raw pork chops here, turn them into enchanted pork chops with the M-Craft area. And then you can use that to upgrade your sword. Currently, I am on there we go. I am on a expert slaying sword, and I need to go into master and eventually legend. But someone can do the math a lot faster than I can. 16 stacks of enchanted whatevers, as I say, I'm using pork chops, and it takes a whole load 9 times 16 to make 1 enchanted. So, yeah, that's going to take a long time. But I'm grinding it, I'm working on it, and I've got this set up with all these mob hoppers up here as well to make sure that all the stuff I need goes into here. I'll come back for you later, little piggy. Right. Yeah, and there's also 1,978 villagers here just staring off into nothingness because I got rid of all the spawners that were on here, and I really didn't want to stand here and kill them for as long as it takes to kill them because, oh god. But yeah, that. Right, on to the next layer, and for that, well, I got the fly command, so, I can fly now. If I, don't cancel it by jumping around. But, Yes, we are down here and we are on my mining area. So, like I explained in the previous video, we have these special mining setups here on the VintageSky server, much like the Skyblock, the one-block servers, where you can set up these generators and it will create various different blocks. I currently have it set to one of the lower areas because I needed a lot of stone, but this is how you get the majority of your materials and resources and things by just standing here and mining away. Like I said, last time I built that big setup up here, I've switched it out now simply because I wanted this set up to be nicely in a chunk like this, because below, let me just make sure I definitely have that fly command on, there we go. I have this little setup here, and we have all the various things that I am currently mining going into these chests down here. And I have this setup with the super furnaces, which smelt exceptionally quickly. Look at that go. This is getting me all of the stone that I need, because we're doing a lot of building, but we'll get onto that in just a moment, and you can see it around the edge. Here we are, down on the growing layer, where we have all the different farms and things like that. I've been farming a whole load of trees, and yeah, we're going to need a lot of wood. Wood is also, in this case, dark oak, what is used to upgrade your big fancy boss bow, which I have now got up to a pretty decent level, and you will see the effects of that relatively soon. I've also got a bit of a cactus farm going on here as well, because you need to bump up your masteries for various things. So I'm going to be harvesting a lot of cactus, because what cactus does is cactus actually sells for relatively a large amount through the auto sell function that we have, again, through the server. So you can sell that off, and once you get to a pretty high mastery of cactus, which again takes a lot of hacking down, it sells for, you know, a very nice amount. Pretty much more than most other things, but the big benefit is, of course, you can auto-farm cactus. So, one of these little crop hoppers here sucks the cactus when it is automatically popped off by the fences into here, and it will store up. However, with the auto sell chests, and the auto sell chests upgraded to a point where I get quite a large amount of monies for them, you could attach this hopper to an auto sell chest and you can just pop off constant amount of cactus with a much bigger farm than this. But again, we're still just leveling this kind of thing up, and once the masteries are right to the top, we are going to get a whole load of cactus flowing in to keep me in those sweet, sweet currencies. Because again, the currencies are what you use via the shop to buy a lot of the building blocks and various other things that you might want to build on your island. And I am going to need a lot of materials like deep slate and tuff and things like that, because of what is going on the layer below here, where I've actually started building. And what you're about to see is the product of 3 days, probably, something like that, of me building. In fact, no, it's actually probably a lot less. It just took me a little bit longer after the initial building spree to finish it off to the way I wanted to at that point. But what is below me is the main style that I am going for this base. So, in the wonderful grand tradition, let's go and take a look by just simply running off the edge. There we go. Very nice. Here you go. Here is what I have been building. As you see, I've got a chest full of stuff here as well. This is the big beginning of the cave that I am going to turn this entire floating island into. And I've done quite a little bit of just texturing it, going up through the various gradients up there, and again the same in the middle with this giant pillar. And as you can see from these little from these little ribs going across here, this is going to be all enclosed, and there's going to be various little holes like that one that's getting shaped there that goes up to the next layer. But this is what we are going to have, and each individual layer is going to look something a little bit like this. What I'm also going to do, and we'll do this a little bit later after I've shown you around more, is I am going to be texturing this particular area with trees and things like that and other things in the water. And yes, as you can see, even under the water has been textured because, you know, I did all that as well. This is going to be very cool, and I am looking forward to finishing it off, but this is all going to be greatly enclosed. And we're going to have this going up over the top, another growing layer here, and then it's going to go up with the central pillar being what is basically the main base. Now, what is in here at the moment is just something of a layout of rooms and things like that with these corridors. However, I'm not entirely happy with this sort of a layout. So what I would like is your guys' opinion out there, and drop a little message in the comments below of letting me know what you would rather see. Would you rather I did it like this, where we have these very standard rooms with floors, ceilings, things like that, inside all of this? Or would you rather see a sort of warren of caves and passageways and things like that, like it's been carved out of the rock, sort of mine shaft style? Honestly, that's kind of the one I'm favouring, so I think you should go for that one. But let me know what you would rather see. And first of all, there is something else that you should probably see, because it really puts into perspective exactly what this whole floating skyblock thing looks like. So engaging fly mode once again, we zip to the edge here where you can see the world border, which I have expanded out one jump, and we have the underside of the island, which as you can see is leaking just a little bit, and I probably could fix this where I've waterlogged these various slabs, but you know what? I kind of like it. It looks cool to me, and no one's ever really gonna see it. And of course, again, here is the underside of that pillar here with the big moat, the river, the ponds, whatever you want to call it, built down under the ground around the outside. And when this is all enclosed, well, you're never gonna see this vast void beyond the walls because it's all going to be hidden within the cave. So you only have to, you know, believe that you're in a cave system, not floating amidst a vast, vast void of nothingness. It's probably a surprise to absolutely no one that I have been running the dungeons quite a lot. Yeah, quite a lot. And I just want to have another little go. I have actually got faster than my last time, although I really want to get a below 4-minute run. And we're going to have a little dive in now and just have a bit of a look around and see how my luck is doing today. Although, with the amount of zombies that we've got here, might be looking up. This is one of the bits that really holds you up doing this first dungeon. It's the spawning rate of these zombies. Ultimately, you need 15 of them to open that door up there. And their spawning can be really, hello little guy, really slow, which just causes you problems. And I have tried so many, die you little git, so many different things to try and get them to spawn. And I've been working on many kind of theories and stuff like that, and whether it's proximity base or spawn spheres, that kind of thing. And quite honestly, I've just come to the conclusion that it is absolutely random, because zombies will spawn right next to you or far away. It doesn't really matter. If there is a mechanic and you happen to know it, please, I implore you, let me know. Because, for the love of anything, I cannot work it out. And this is another one of these areas that will really screw you up because of spawn rates. Because again, what you need to get past this particular area is you need 2 of these golden guys. So you might be really lucky and get 2 right off the bat, just like I did. Oh, and look, we got a little loot chest out of it. Or you might get absolutely none. That is just the way it goes. And if you get none, it will completely screw up your time. Now, into the maze section, well, this is a kind of skill thing, I will admit, because the actual path through the maze, once you know it, isn't that difficult. You just head straight. But when you start getting to these jumps, this is where it becomes difficult. Ah, damn it. Because you get things like that. And even if you are successful with the parkour, well, you're going to get mobs. And occasionally you are going to be really unlucky. And you are going to get a mob, much like that spider, just in the absolute wrong place. Ones like that you don't have to bother with, you can get past them, but it's ones like that little git right there that is gonna make your day terrible, because they will stand right at the edge and just tap you, normally whilst you're in the air, and it will just force you into the lava. Nearly went in there myself. The absolute worst one is you get a skelly right on that end, and they will just throw you back into the lava every time, and it will really destroy everything. But right now, we're not going to do a fast run here. At this point, it's going to be like another minute 30 seconds, probably, to get through. But this is just a more casual run, because quite honestly, I do a bunch of building, I do a bunch of mob grinding, and then I come along and I just run a couple of dungeons because I find them quite relaxing. Apart from when things go terribly wrong, in which case they are rage-inducing and everything must die. But that is another thing. And one of the bits of this dungeon that I have been really pushing to try and do is to work out these pillars in this final bit. And again, quite frankly, I think I'm just barking up a wrong tree. I don't think there is any particular rhyme or reason behind this. Normally, I would go for that purple pillar we've just passed, but this is the one that really slows you down, because the blue one at the back here, the shield one, has the slowest, or rather, the slowest time to retick, but the fastest uptime. So getting that as the final pillar is a real pain, because it will cause the boss to just stand around on low health, not dying for a long time. Thankfully, due to the various items and stuff that I've got hold of, I've got enough speed, or the ability to get up enough speed, to get from that door to the blue pillar and take it down straight away, and then get over to the green one. But it can absolutely kill you if you are just waiting around for a pillar to activate. Have a smack. And finally, we're gonna wrap up with the purple one, the poison pillar, and we can take it out. And this is what I'm talking about with the blue one, because whilst that blue pillar is active, this guy won't die. So you're waiting for the blue pillar to deactivate so you can hit him. That isn't an issue with the other pillars, because this one heals, this one does damage to you, and that one makes his damage twice as much. So even when these pillars are active, you can still hit him and take him out. It's a little awkward. And again, I've been running it constantly to try and work out the tricks and things like that. And honestly, it's just luck. Speaking of luck, let's see what boots we get. And the boots. Very nice. If we just look in my personal vault, you will see, yeah, I've got quite a few sets these days. So do I have enough to make a full ender set now? I don't think I do. I've got the chest. I've got the legs. Do I have an ender helmet? No, I don't. But you know what? We'll just shift you over there, and we'll have another set going right in here. At some point, I will collect all of these and hopefully be able to display them somewhere, but I'm not doing too badly, quite honestly. Here we are at one of the dragon boss fights, where you have to summon the dragon by killing a bunch of these shadow summoners, the Endermen, the renamed Endermen. And these guys drop these little eyes that are eyes of Ender that you throw into the summoning thing in the center to be able to summon one of the many different types of dragon. Now, this is one of the things you have to do quite a bit if you want to get into it, and I am just kind of getting into it. I've got the better bow and I'm slowly leveling it up, and I'm beginning to get a few of the pieces of various armor. But basically what happens is you summon one of these, in this case it's the aquatic dragon, and you just shoot away to your heart's content, ripping the guy apart. Now, it is entirely possible to solo one of these dragons. They just take a lot of damage, and when you've got a decent group of a fair few people, all with varying degrees of power in terms of how much damage they're going to be able to do to the dragon, it can take anywhere between 5, 10, 15 minutes to bring one of these guys down. The highest one that I've seen, I think, has 60,000 health, which does take a little while as they fly around and you miss terribly, as I do quite often, or the dragon comes into the center like this and you are able to just basically lay into them with sword or bow or whatever your chosen weapon is, and eventually you will be able to bring one of these guys down. When that happens, you will automatically get a bunch of shards that are relevant to the particular type of dragon, which you can then use to either make the boss bow, which is what I'm using here, albeit with a skin on it, or one of the various sets of armor. And each of the different types of armor, depending on which type of dragon it is, gives you various statistical benefits that help out in the game. Things like extra mining abilities, more chance of getting drops and various different things, that kind of stuff. Or you can just make your weapon even better. But, as I say, it does take a little bit of time to kill one of these guys, and when you get the loot, depending on how you do, and if you make it into the top 5, things like that, you can get other little benefits. Much like this little legendary pouch that I've managed to get here, alongside all of my current collection, which I'm giving over to Danny. But it is a random selection. Let's see what we get. Experience is something. I have many illusion ones, they're kind of useful, but you do get quite a few of them, and a smelting one, much the same as the other one. It's been a little while since that last clip, and I have done some building. Okay, nothing you can actually see right now apart from that tree, but I've just been going around, I've been doing little bits here and there, I've been doing some tidying up, just to kind of get things ready for the big expansion and the build that's going to happen, because as soon as this roof comes over the top, all of this is going to get a lot darker. So I really need to do all of the stuff here now so that I can light it up properly in a more thematic way than simply, you know, having to light it up so I can see what I'm building. But let's take a little look at the various things I've done. Starting, probably, with this little tree over here. What I've kind of gone for is I want a bit more of a darker, grimier look down here. Because again, when the roof is over the top of this, this is all going to be big undercover, nice big cave, and everything's going to be a lot darker. So what I've kind of done is I've taken the stripped mangrove wood and I've taken the mangrove roots and I've reversed them. So we've got the wood there, obviously, but the roots are on top, taking the place of the leaves. And then we've got these weeping vines from the nether in here as well. I've also added a little bit of granite here and there, just as a kind of steps to make the trunk of the tree look a bit smoother and things like that. It doesn't quite match up how I'd perhaps like. And I'm honestly wondering if potentially just using mangrove logs would probably be easier. However, the nice redwood from the nether is looking pretty good there. Just a few little highlights and detail bits dotted around. But overall, I'm quite happy with how this tree has come. And we're going to dot a few more of them of varying different sizes around here. to give this kind of an overshadowed look. So you're not just seeing the entire wall all the way around. The wall becomes a sort of a background thing, as it probably should be. But the main work that I've been going on, and I did previously say in a clip that to your good selves has probably been only a few moments. However, it's been a day or so for me, and I've been messing around in here, and this is the kind of look that I was talking about when I was saying the kind of cave mineshaft kind of thing. So we've got, of course, the stonework, we've got the pillars, and we've got the usual little shading and things like that. And yes, I've even gone and added some mycelium around the edges, because ultimately, I'm one of those weirdos that quite likes mycelium as a block. I think it works pretty nicely, and it's quite a nice, subtle, purpley green colour, which I happen to quite like. But yes, this is what I was talking about. And what I'm planning on doing is punching through the wall just behind me over here, where there is a bit of a bigger area for the central pillar that has not yet been covered. And we're going to have a bit of a walkway that goes up some stairs that will lead to the next cave, which will be immediately above this. Because if we just punch through the ceiling, and for that I'm obviously going to need my pickaxe, come on, engage fly, thank you. You will see that there is actually quite a lot of room up here. We've only really covered the bottom half of this pillar, which we will then be able to put another few rooms up here, potentially splitting it into 2 or 3 different size rooms, depending on how we want to go for. And of course, this is going to get covered as well. So we have plenty of room to mess around with. And this is most likely where the stairway is going to come up, leading up here into another room with a lot more going on. This is kind of the idea that I was having. And what I am planning on doing is dotting chests and various things around the room, so it will look like this is a working mine with huge piles of gold and ore and various other things in the walls as well. So we get that kind of Erebor mine working idea and all the various riches that are embedded within the various blocks on this island. But yes, that's what I'm going for. I hope you enjoyed it, and there will be another video from the VintageSky server at some point in the future, so I will see you then.